Alrighty. Well, how's everybody doing today? Awesome. Alright, I want to start out with a prayer today. Dear Lord, I thank you for this opportunity that you give us for everybody to be here. It's amazing to look out at everybody in this congregation and see how many people are here to hear you, Lord. And I pray that the words that you've given me, Lord, just use me as an instrument to preach to everybody, Lord. It's not me who's preaching, it's only you. In your name we pray. Amen. All right. I'd like to start off by thanking everybody for being here. This is a really special day for these youth. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrew Sokolowski. I've attended Spirit of Joy here for about going on 10 years now this June. So I've met a lot of great people along the way and made some great spiritual family members. And I want to say that it's an honor for me to be able to preach to you today. I want to start off by presenting you with a scenario. Let's say that you're walking down the city street. It could be here in Charlotte, New York City, anywhere. As long as you can get somebody to, just pull them off the street. And they can be anybody, as long as they can actually understand you. And what you should ask them is this: what is the most important thing in your life? Pretty simple question. You can imagine that there might be a wide variety of answers that you get from people if you ask them that. Some people might say, my mom's my most important thing in my life. She's been there for me through thick and thin. Maybe your dad, brothers, sisters, siblings. Maybe it's a new job they got, a promotion. Maybe it's a new car that they got, a nice new Audi or something like that. No. It could be anything. If they're really bold, they might say maybe their favorite thing is money. So, what would your answer be? You can guess that there might be the same variety on the street as there would be here if we all answered that. So why am I asking this? Well, it has to do with one of my verses that I have in here. And it's one of my favorites because I had to think about its meaning for several years until I finally got it. Let me read this to you. It's from Matthew 10, 37 through 39. In this section, Jesus is talking to his followers and the crowds that follow him. You can read along if you'd like, if you have anything to read with. All right, here we go. Verse 37. Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. It's a great and powerful message. But my favorite part of the whole thing is verse 37, where it says, anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And it says the same thing about sons and daughters. The first time I saw this, I was in the 7th grade. I was attending Metropolitan Christian Academy at First Baptist Indian Trail. And the special speaker there at chapel used this as his main point of his message. And at first, in all honesty, I thought he made up the verse. It came as a shock to me when I first saw this. So that night when I went home, I double-checked everything in my life. I thought that I wasn't worthy enough for God because I loved my parents or my family. And granted, I was in 7th grade, so I was still a little... No. I'm older now, so I'm all good. But I realized that the answer to this was pretty simple, and there all along. Love God more than anything. It's pretty simple. It's really easy. But it's easier said than done for most people. Here's a quick example I want to show you. What I want you to do is picture a triangle. Now, the lines of this triangle represents connections with 3 different people. 3 people are God, you, and that person that you answered that question. Let's say, we'll use spouse for an example. I'm going to put S for spouse just for state's sake. So these all represent the connections between you and God, God and you, spouse and you, etc., etc. So the shorter the lines are the connections. The shorter the line is, the closer you are to that person. The longer it is, the farther away that you are from them. So let's say you love your spouse more than God. You put them in front of God. What it would end up looking like is this. Triangle changes a little bit. You notice that you are closer to that person that you love. But what about the connection between you and God? Still about the same distance. And mathematically, the distance hasn't changed at all. But I'm not here to talk about geometry. So what if we reverse this? What if we change it so that you are closer to God? You put him in front of the person that you love. Hopefully you all can see this. Changes again. You're closer to God. But what people don't like to see is that line between you and the person that you love. It's still pretty long. And people think, well, I don't want to have to be able to choose between one and two. I love them both dearly. I'd lay down my life for that person, but I love God who created me. He died for me. So this is what I found really incredible. And it snapped for me in my head, and it was like, that's amazing when I found this out. What if both you and the person that you love draw close to God at the same time? See that? The smaller scale of this, but the lines, as both people grow closer to God, the line between them shortens. That's what God's plan was all along. He didn't mean follow me and forget everybody that you love. It means follow me, and if they follow me too, I'll handle the rest. And I think that's pretty amazing. Now let's say that somebody that you love is holding you back from God. What if you get attached to them and let's say they don't believe in God, or they just feel like they can't trust God? Once we get attached to them, it's not really easy to let go. There's another passage I love that I feel fits perfectly with this example. It's from Matthew 8:18 through 22. It reads, when Jesus saw the crowd around him, he gave orders to cross to the other side of the lake. Then a teacher of the law came to him and said, Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go. Just name the place. Jesus replied, Foxes have dens, and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Another disciple said to him, Lord, first let me go and bury my father. But Jesus told him, Follow me, and let the dead bury their own dead. Once again, a pretty great verse. I love it a lot. My favorite part is about the father that needed to be buried. So not so uplifting as far as verses go so far. You're not worthy of me. You let the dead bury their own dead. It's kind of grim, but it'll like it. Personally, the toughest verses to swallow are the ones that are the most fulfilling in the long term, at least once you find its meaning. But back to the story. This man was putting his father over his father, or I should say his earthly father over his heavenly father. This, like I said earlier, works with the triangle really well. However, there's another part to the verse, a second meaning that Jesus threw in there that I think he meant to be hidden. Follow me and let the dead bury their own dead. So the man is basically saying that he had something to do before he followed Jesus. Remember the triangle? It proves that the man made a bit of a wrong move. Jesus wants us to follow him first. And this also relates to our future plans. How so? If we worry about things in our life, it distances us from God even further. Oh, I'll follow you, God, but first I want to get through high school. I want to graduate and get a good GPA. Then I'll follow you. Then it leads to, oh, Lord, let me get into college, go through college, get a family, start a life, settle down, and then I'll follow you. God says no. Because once that starts, it's hard to stop. They just keep going on and on with the excuses. God says, stop. Take a breath. And follow. That's it. Don't worry about your plans. Don't worry about your purpose in life. And this was a big problem for me too. As I've grown older, I've worried relentlessly about my future. Who I want to be, who I want to turn into, what should I do at this certain time. And these verses spoke to me. They were really amazing. I was frustrated with my life for a long time. Things weren't going the way that I was planning them, which, big surprise there. While I was writing this sermon, I was reminded of something that obviously didn't hit home the first time. And it was one simple phrase. Who am I? Who am I to worry about my metaphorical death, to worry about burying me? Who am I to worry about what will happen in my life? Who am I to use my own judgment in place of God's knowledge? Who am I to worry about schools or what will happen in my future? Who am I to decide who I become in life? Who am I against the glory of God? I know that there are some of you here, maybe even all of you, who have struggled with this same scenario. You're not alone. I mean, look at me. At one point, I was mentally beating myself into the ground, wanting answers. I was angry with God. For what reason? I don't know. I had no idea. I wanted to be mad. And I chose God, which, that's not the best idea. So realize that when you get mad at God, he'll turn your life into the book of Job so fast it'll make you sick. Who are we to question his plan for us? It kind of sounds like the story of Jonah, which I'm pretty sure everybody's heard, either whether it be from Bible school or maybe you saw the VeggieTales version as a kid or with the kids. God came to a man named Jonah, saying that he wanted Jonah to deliver a message to Nineveh, saying that God would destroy the city for their sins. Now, Nineveh at that time was the most sinful place in the world. You even mentioned the name, everybody wanted to get away from it. If you were from Nineveh, they didn't want to be near you. Anything sinful, it was there. It was hell on earth in a way. And Jonah didn't want any part of that. He said, no, God, I'm not going there. You can't make me go there. So Jonah, in all his wisdom, decides to hop on a boat and thinks he can sail across the other side of the world to escape God. That didn't work. God brought a storm to the ship. Jonah thought, hey, if I jump into the ocean, maybe God will spare us all. He jumps in. It seems all fine until God sends a whale to swallow him up. So he sits in the whale for many days and nights, and finally says, you know what, God? I'm done. I can't run away from you. He submitted to God. God had Jonah thrown back up onto the shore right outside of Nineveh, and he says, all right, go deliver the message now. So on the way there, Jonah was thinking, you know what? Maybe God's right. They need to be destroyed. They don't deserve to live. All the sinning that they do, it's insane. Once he gets there, Jonah tells them the message in front of everybody, the entire city. And he says, quite simply, God will destroy you for your acts. Everybody there freaked out. And in a twist of fate that Jonah didn't expect at all, everybody repented of their sins. The entire city, together as one. God saw this and he spared the city. But all that Jonah did was climbed up onto a hill He sat there and waited for the destruction to start. He was sitting there expecting God to destroy the city. And when he saw that God wasn't doing anything, he started complaining to him, saying, "Why aren't you destroying them? They don't follow you. They don't love you. They go against everything that you teach. Why aren't you sparing them? Or why are you sparing them?" And God basically said, essentially summing it up, he said, "Who are you to decide what I do?" And this made it all snap like a rubber band. 2 words changed my view, and it could change yours if it hasn't already. Have faith. Have faith? It can't be that simple. Well, this is God that we're talking about. It can be pretty simple if he wants to be. The answer is easy, but the faith itself can challenge us. And this finally leads up to our gospel, where we talk about Simon Peter, Andrew, James, and John. Just imagine Jesus walking across the beach, the Sea of Galilee, probably a really nice day outside, wind blowing through his hair, the warm sand between his toes. He sees a boat out on the sea. Looks up, there's 2 guys out there fishing, probably having a hard time, probably really hot and sweaty from sitting out there in the sun. And he says, "You 2, follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men." So what did they do? They dropped everything they were doing, got up, and followed him. No questions asked, period, end of sentence. Nothing more to say. That's pretty incredible. Wouldn't that be great if that happened in today's life? Just go up to anybody that you see, just say, "Hey, you can follow me. You're going to go do something." People would think that you're weird. So Peter and Andrew were an exception. The question of who this mysterious man was probably didn't pop into their heads until they started really seeing who Jesus was through his works and his parables that were taught. But we don't want to leave James and John out of this. So what was their story in all of this? James and John, the sons of Zebedee, which, if I remember correctly, translates roughly to the sons of thunder, which is easily the coolest name in the Bible. That and Samson. Samson's pretty awesome. But listen to what happens. It says, verse 21, "As he went from there, he saw 2 other brothers, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, in the boat with their father Zebedee, mending their nets, and he called to them. Immediately, they left the boat and their father and followed him." Did you catch that? They left their father for a man that they'd never seen before. Pretty bold. What if the brothers were having some quality time with their father? You know, having a blast sitting out there, mending their fishing nets. That's any fun. And they leave it all behind. But do you see a similarity? It kind of has the same theme as the dead bury their own dead passage. Except Zebedee wasn't dead, he was very alive and well, otherwise he wouldn't be mending fishing nets. But what made those 4 men leave? Was it because they were risk takers? They saw a man, the man called to them and said, "Hey, we don't know this guy, let's do it, let's see what happens." No? Probably not. Was it by faith? In a way. But as far as the Bible is concerned, this is the first time they had ever seen Jesus. I guess you could classify this under divine intervention. And let's say they did have a nudging from God. Then it would take faith to follow through with it, right? I wish I had that kind of faith. Real, true, unwaverable faith. And I bet all of us would like this, right? But we've learned from Peter that even the most faithful fall away from Christ. This is referring to when Peter denied Jesus 3 times before he was crucified. God knows that none of us will ever be completely faithful and trust Him 100% of the time, 24/7. But when we do put our trust and faith in Him, He will light our pathway with His will. Follow today, and it will lead to the right path tomorrow. That's why He asks us not to plan our life around ourselves. He could have a completely different plan in mind for you. Just for an example, his plan for me could be for me to be an artist, and I can't draw to save my life. He could make somebody a construction worker, or maybe even work in radio announcement, or maybe just some guy who fills prescriptions at CVS Pharmacy. No one can ever be sure what he has in store for us in his plan. But there's one thing that I know is absolutely positive. He will use us for good. It's quite reassuring to hear that. He will use us for good. God, before time even began, made us in his own image, sent his Son to die for our sins, sins that we already did and sins that we haven't even committed yet. That's not proof that God has a plan for us, and I don't know what is. Some of you may think that you don't have the right amount of faith, or even enough faith. But all you have to do is surrender to him. Give him the wheel. And yes, that's a country song reference. Let him hold the reins. Give him your everything. And he'll give you everything and more. We may not have the faith to move mountains, or the faith to call down fire from heaven like Elijah did, or even the faith to drop everything and follow Jesus with no question, like James, John, Andrew, and Peter, or even the faith to walk on water. And I want to leave you with this last thought. All we have to do is put all the faith we have in God. Not all the faith we think we need. Not all the faith that we think we want. All the faith we have. And God can turn us into people that we never dreamed we could become. He could turn you into a great preacher if you wanted, turning merit alongside Reverend Billy Graham. Or he could turn you into an amazing musician, artist, politician, teacher, or a whole bunch of different things. But you have to deny yourself. Leave your family. Leave your earthly possessions. Leave your friends. Leave the preconceived notions that this world tells us we should do. Pick up your cross and follow your leader. In my opinion, this truly is the meaning of life. To love and follow him. God has a plan for us. And he waits and knocks at our door. Isn't it time we leave it all to him? Just let him take over. God's ready for us. And I think it's time that we open the door for him. Remember, God loves you. And so, amen.